So today's topic is called the power of I am. Yeah, you can see it in your handout. You can see I am. Yeah? So today we're going to talk about the power of I am. So I will start with a story. My parents, when they got married in Nigeria, they were young. A young couple, just trying to manage. They didn't have much money. So dad was living with mom in mom's dad's house. Yeah, so they were living in my granddad's house because they could not even afford to rent a flat. They were that hard up. But mom always told dad, let's go to London. Let's go to London. And my dad would laugh. He would scoff. He would say, it's not our sort, not our type that goes to London. You know, we don't even have money. We can't rent a place. I'm living with your dad and you want us to go to London. How is that going to be possible? But mom kept on saying that, no, those who go to London, they do not have two heads. They're not any special. They're people like us. And my dad would say, nobody in your family has ever left Nigeria. Nobody in my family have ever left Nigeria. So how can we go? But mom always said, we will go to London. So mom always walks like she's already here. So my mom keeps on saying, I'm a Londoner, I'm a Londoner. You know, people, when you come from here, you go to Africa, they call you a Londoner. Oh, he's a Londoner, he's a Londoner. So my mom always says, I am a Londoner. You know, I'm a Londoner. So always. But my dad always just laughed and, oh, you know, it's just a dream. It'll never come true. And then eventually they did come to London. The first in their families. They came here. And they had two of us here. And then later we went all back to Nigeria. So I grew up in Nigeria. But they had us here. And so because my mom opened the way, other members of her family also came here. So now I have uncles here, I have aunties here. So she opened the door, she paved the way for others. They said, well, if Mama Tina can come to London, they also can do it. You see, so that's the power of I am. She strongly believed that she would come here, and despite all the odds, despite, you know, they were not rich, they were not wealthy. Mom said dad had one pair of clothes. So if they wanted to go out, he had to wash it, dry it, iron it. Then they can go out. And they're thinking about going to London. I mean, how possible is that? But they did make it here. They were here for over 10 years that they lived here. And they had two of us here. And then eventually they went back, you know, to settle down. So that's the power of I am. It's a very, very powerful statement to make. So every day you need to make that positive affirmation. I am rich. I am wealthy. I am brilliant. I am intelligent. You need to make that powerful affirmation to yourself. Do you understand? Don't say things like, I am dumb. Oh, I am silly. You don't say negative things to yourself. Our words are spirit. So if you say things like that, they do come to pass. There was a sitcom that I watched. It's called, some moms do have them. You wouldn't know it, you're too young. Because they used to show it back those days. It's online, if you search for it. And there was this man inside called Frank. I think Frank. Yeah, I think that's what his name was. And he went to see a psychiatrist. He came out saying, I'm a failure, I'm a failure. And he always did things like, he always failed at everything. He was bumbling, he was like worse than Mr. Bean, if you know Mr. Bean. Yeah, he's worse than Mr. Bean. You know, he messes everything up, you see, and he sees himself as a failure.
I'm a failure.
Oh, really?
He just told me. I'm just going home to tell the wife.
No.
I'm a failure. I'm a real failure.
So you cannot say negative things about yourself. So when you say I am, that word I am is very powerful. So whatever you want to be in future, you have to start declaring it now. You know, if you want to be the best athlete ever, you say, I am an Olympic champion. You start declaring it from now. I am the best, whatever it is you want to be. I am the best singer. I am the best actor, the best actress. I am the best footballer. You have to start declaring it from now, even before you achieve it. You start declaring it. You start being positive about it. And then it will come to pass if you put in the work. You don't just say it, I am the best, without doing anything. You see, those who like Kobe, he was a basketballer, he died.
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah. You see, he goes out every day, very early in the morning, practicing basketball. So even when after training and everybody's gone home, he will still be there. He can be there 2-3 hours after, because of one shot. He needs to get one shot. He needs to get one shot right, and he will not leave there until he gets it right. So when he does it, when they're playing a match, and he just does this and he goes in, he's learned that for 2 hours just to get that right, and then he goes in the hoop and everybody cheers, but it's taking him that long. So even though you declare that you are the best in your field, you still need to put in the work. You can't say I am the best and all you do is sleep and don't do anything about it. You still have to put in the training. Like Junior now, on Sundays they play matches. He's in a football team. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they have to go for training, for practice, twice a week. And then Sundays they play the match. Sometimes during the week he doesn't want to go, but he knows it's going to help him on Sunday. So he goes. So you still need to put in effort. You don't just say I am and I am and do nothing about it. There was a story I read of a man who he went to church on Sunday. He knelt down before the altar and he said, Lord, please help me win the lottery. Help me win the lottery. I need money. Help me win the lottery. He will go on the next Sunday. Lord, you still haven't let me win the lottery. You haven't let me win the lottery. I'm praying. I'm a good person. I'm always in church. I do this, I do this, I do this. The third Sunday, he went to church again. But God, why haven't you answered my prayer? I said, help me win the lottery so I can have a lot of money. And then the story says that then there was clouds and there was thunder, and God's voice said that you need to buy a lottery ticket. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep on praying, help me win the lottery, help me win the lottery, and you didn't buy a ticket. You understand the story? Yeah? So before you pray about something, you need to put in the work. Lord, help me sell my book. Help me sell my book. But you don't have a book. So how is God going to help you sell the book? You need to write the book. You need to print and publish it. Then you pray, God, help me sell my book. Then God will bring buyers to buy your book, but you don't have a book. So why are you praying that God should help you sell your book? Why are you praying that God make me the best athlete, but you're not eating right? You know, you're not training, you're not practicing, you're not doing nothing. So how are you going to be the best? You understand? So that is the power of I am. So you must always declare positive things to yourself. Don't say, I am thick, I am dumb, I am stupid. You are not. Don't say those things with your mouth against yourself. And if somebody says it to you, oh, you are so dumb, immediately you reject it. God forbid. You tell them straight, God forbid. I am not dumb. Yeah, you need to reject it. It's not for you. Okay? So let's look in our handouts now and look at some Bible verses. I've almost finished the teaching. So let's look in your handouts. So you see, I am, two of the most powerful words. Can you see it there in your handout? So let's look at the first one, which says, I am who I am. Exodus 3:14. Let's read it together. God said to Moses,
I am
who I am. When you go to the people of Israel, tell them, I am sent me to you. So Moses encountered God in the burning bush. Yeah? You know the story.
Yeah.
So Moses encountered God in a burning bush. And God told Moses, go to Egypt and, set my people free. The Israelites were slaves in Egypt. It's time now for them to be released. God sent Moses to go there. And that time there were so many different gods all over the place. Different gods with different names. So there was Dagon, there was Baal, there was Asherah, lots of different gods. So Moses said, if I go to Pharaoh and say, God said, let my people go, he's going to ask me, which God? What's the name of the God? That's why he asked God, what's your name? What will I tell Pharaoh? And God told him, tell Pharaoh, tell them that I am has sent you. I am, that's my name. I am. You understand? You see how powerful those two words are. I am. So Moses went, and when Pharaoh asked him, who is your God? I don't know your God. Moses told him, I am. And eventually Pharaoh had to let the people go. That's the power of I am. So let's look at page 2. In your handout, page 2. Yeah, so let's look at the next text. John 8:58. Read.
Jesus
answered, I tell you the truth. Before Abraham was born, I am. Can you see that I am again?
Yes.
So the Pharisees were having a debate with Jesus, and Jesus was telling them that before Abraham, I am. And they're like, are you mad? You're just a little boy. Are you saying that you're older than Abraham? But Jesus is trying to tell them that he was there before creation. You see, before the beginning, before all of you were created, he was there. That's why he's saying, I am. But they did not understand, because they're thinking that, what are you talking about? How old are you? Abraham is long dead. So how can you be older than him? But he's saying that I am. So he was in existence long before Abraham was in existence. Now let's look at the next verse. John 6:35. What does it say? Jesus said, I am the bread that gives life. He who comes to me will never be hungry. He who believes in me will never be thirsty. So Jesus is saying, come to me. If you are hungry, if you are thirsty, come to me. I am the bread of life. You see, when we do the communion, we're saying that that's Jesus' body, the bread. The communion we do in church. Yeah, that's the bread of life. That's Jesus. So he said that he is the bread of life. I am the bread of life. You see, I am before Abraham was. Yeah, and God is saying that his name is I am. So you see, I am is very powerful. I am. Let's look at the next verse. John 8:12. Jesus talked to the people again. He said, I am the light of the world. The person who follows me will never live in darkness. So you see, Jesus is the light of the world. And as Christians, we are also the light of the world. We are the salt of the earth. Jesus said whoever follows him will never live in darkness, because Jesus is the light of the world. Yeah. So who is the prince of the darkness? The devil. Exactly. The devil is the prince of the darkness, and Jesus is the light of the world. So you see the darkness and the light. You see it? Yeah. So but when this room is dark and the light comes in, what happens?
The darkness goes away.
The darkness goes. It will be light. See? It will become light. Jesus is the light of the world. Let's go to page 3. John 10:9. What does it say? I am the door. The person who enters through me will be saved. He will be able to come in and go out and find pasture. So you see, Jesus is the door. He said, I am the door. Yeah? Yeah. So he's the door. He is the light. What else did he say? He's the bread. Yeah? So you find everything in Jesus. You find everything in him. If you are confused, you just pray. Jesus will show you the way. Yeah? Let's look at the next one. John 10:11. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. The worker who is paid to keep the sheep is different from the shepherd who owns them. Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. You see, like David, he was a shepherd. And David looks after the animals. So if a fox comes or a wolf comes to take the sheep, David will chase after that lion to get the sheep back, because he was a good shepherd. We are sheep, and Jesus is the good shepherd. So far we are Jesus' sheep. If the devil comes to come and snatch us from him, Jesus will chase and take us back. He's the good shepherd. But those that you pay to look after the animals, if a lion comes, they leave the animals and they run away. They don't care, because they are not shepherds. They're just paying them to look after the animals. They're hirelings. They don't care. They're not going to risk their life. You see, they don't care. There was I was in a supermarket sometime, it was years ago, and a customer went to the security man and was telling him that, excuse me, some people are shoplifting, and he just stood there. I was like, okay. And the woman left. She was angry that he didn't listen to her, and she left. And when I went to him and like, so why didn't you go and speak to the shoplifters? He said, I'm just doing a job, I don't want anyone to come and stab me. He didn't care. He's just doing a job. He's just getting his pay. He didn't care. But if he was the owner of the shop, I bet he won't behave like that, because that's his business and they're stealing his stock. He would definitely go and have words and tell them that if they don't put it back, he will call the police, and he will tell them to leave and never come back again. That is the difference. So Jesus is the good shepherd. We are his sheep. He will always look after us. If the devil takes us, Jesus will snatch us back. But a hireling will not bother. They will just look away and pretend that they didn't see the wolf take the sheep. They're not going to chase. They don't care. They just get their pay. If you want to fire me, fire me. They don't care. So Jesus is saying, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. You understand? The good shepherd will chase that lion to get the sheep back. Even though he knows he may be attacked, but he will chase. He will not just let you take the sheep. He will say, no way. He will round up all the other sheep and put them safe and run and go and take that sheep back. He will go and take the sheep back. That's the good shepherd. And Jesus is the good shepherd. Let's look at the next one. John 11:25. Let's read. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will have life even if he dies. So Lazarus had died. And their sisters, Mary and Martha, they were crying. And they said, Jesus, if only you had come earlier. If you came earlier, our brother wouldn't have died. Now he's dead. And Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. And he rose Lazarus up from the dead. Even though he had died 4 days, he had been buried. He had been buried 4 days. And then Jesus came. And they were saying that if only you were here when he was sick, you could have cured him, you could have healed him. And now he's dead and he's buried. And Jesus said, I am the resurrection and I am the life. He who believes in me will have life even if he dies. And he went there, he told them, roll the stone away. They always put a big stone where they bury people so that the animals will not go and take the body. Yeah.
Like a tombstone.
Like a tombstone, yeah. Yeah, even when we went to Israel, they showed us in like the rocks in the mountain. So there's all these holes. There's all these holes like this. All these holes in like the mountain, cut into the mountain. And that's where they put the bodies. But they said that was before. But they showed us that was before. That's where they used to bury their bodies. It's like they cut inside the rock and they put the bodies there. So Jesus, they went to the place where they buried him. And Jesus said, roll the stone away. And the sister said, it's 4 days, he will be stinking by now. And he said, roll it away. And when they rolled the stone away, Jesus stood there and said, Lazarus, come forth. And he came out alive. You see, he is the resurrection and the life. So that's what he's saying here. That even though he who believes in me will have life, even if he dies. Yeah? So let's look at page 4. Let's read the first one. John 14:6. Jesus answered, I am the way, and I am the truth and the life. The only way to the Father is through me. So Jesus is the way to God. He is saying that he is the way to God. Yeah? There's no like, there's an adage that says there are many roads that leads to Rome. Or there are many roads that lead to the market. But Jesus is saying here that I am the way. You know, the only way to the Father. You see, he's the only way to follow to get to God. He's not saying he's one of many. He's not saying there are other ways. He said, I am the way. That's what Jesus said. And if you're a Christian, you believe in that. That's what he said. So let's read the next one. John 15:5. We're almost done. I am the vine, and you are the branches. If a person remains in me, and I remain in him, then he produces much fruit. But without me, he can do nothing. So Jesus is the vine, and we are the branches. So you see, the body of the tree like this is Jesus. We are the branch coming out from the tree like this, yeah? So far we are in that body, the tree. You know, the roots takes the nutrients, water, everything from the soil, and then it feeds the tree, and everywhere is fresh. But if you cut that branch off the tree and it drops on the floor, what happens to that branch?
It doesn't produce anymore.
Yeah, it gets dry and it becomes a twig. It's dead, basically, because it cannot live on its own. So Jesus is saying, so far we are in him, we will have life. But if we remove ourselves from him, then we will not have life. Yeah. You saw them cutting down a tree. Yeah, most times they do that. If the tree is going to be dangerous. Yeah, if it's going to be dangerous, like it's hanging, You know, sometimes there's some buses when they go under a tree. Yeah, so they have to trim it. They have to trim it. If they know it's going to be dangerous, they look at it. And sometimes if it's like a high wind, maybe it, so it can be risky to life. So they do trim. They come to our area as well. We have trees in front of our house. And sometimes they come and you see that they are trimming it down. You know, so it won't like fall on the houses or fall on somebody. That's why they do that. And when they trim it, but it still grows because the root is still there. You know, it's still there. So even if that branch falls off and it's not dead and rusty and crinkly, and you take it, you can graft it back into the tree. Yeah, you put it back and you tie it. There's a way that they do it, and it will grow. It will still grow back because it will take its life from the tree. It will grow back. So far, it's not yet dead. Not like a twig that you can break. It's still like soft. It can grow back. So now Jesus is that vine, and we are the branches. So if we break off, that means that you backslid. You left Jesus, you started doing rubbish, you know, started drinking, you don't go to church anymore, smoking, taking drugs. But then if you make your way back to Jesus, you can be grafted back and you get life again. Yeah, so Jesus is saying he is the vine, we are the branches. Yeah. And then finally, at the bottom, what does Joel 3:10 say? Let the weak say, I am strong. And let the poor say, I am rich. You see? So that's the power in I am. Yeah? Don't declare negative things to yourself. Wherever you want to be in life, wherever you want to be in future, start declaring it now. Live as if you have already achieved that thing. Yeah? And work towards it. Yeah? Because faith without works is dead. You work towards it. You declare it from now. That, okay, I am successful. You wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror. I am beautiful. I am handsome. I am intelligent. I am in top set in school. Start, you know, declaring it. Start declaring I'm the best footballer. You know, start declaring it. Start imagining it. You know, in your head. You start imagining it. Yeah? You don't say that, oh, I'm Messi. Like if you're playing football, you say, I'm Messi. I'm Ronaldo. No. Mention your own name. Mention your own name. I'm able. I tackle. I dribble. Into the goal. Mention your name. You know, I'm the best in the world. I am. You say, I am Michelle. I am the best. That's what you say. Yes, you say I am the best. Don't say I'm thick. Yeah? Don't say, oh, I'm so dumb. You're not dumb. If you don't know something in class, it doesn't make you dumb. It's your teacher who didn't teach you properly.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the teacher's fault. It's the teacher's fault. Your teacher didn't teach you properly. Yeah, so you need to just tell the teacher, excuse me, can you repeat that again? I didn't get that. And your teacher has to tell you in a way that you'll understand. You're not dumb. You're brilliant. You're intelligent. You're very clever. Now, do we understand that, yeah? Yeah. Good. Positive affirmations. I am positive at the end. I'm good at school. Good. That's good. Yeah, I am the best. Yeah, that's what you say to yourself. Okay? Any questions? No questions. Thanks for listening.